This is a 13 Weather Impact Alert.
Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Baker, joined by meteorologist Blake Hansen. We're coming to you a little bit earlier than our 11 o'clock show to kind of talk about the weather that we're seeing. I don't know if you've been outside, but it's cold. It's cold. It's
Yes,
snowy.
it is.
It's what we're used to in Michigan, but we've been pretty blessed in not having to deal with it for a while. So
It's one of those things, Lauren, is that we didn't have a winter last year.
yeah,
We had a week and a half stretch, a day or two here that got pretty cold, but we're on day number 3 now.
Oh, yeah.
Of it being pretty cold outside. In fact, we're talking temperatures that are below 0 right now.
Yeah.
Wind chill values, not just a few degrees below 0. We're talking, and we'll show this in a couple minutes, 20, 25 below 0 is what it feels like when factoring in the wind. So it's Michigan. We know how winter goes,
Yeah.
but even these type of days, yeah, it's quite cold. We don't even see this every given winter for our standards. But one thing's for sure, on top of the cold, roads are nasty.
yes,
Yeah,
very bad, very bad.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the newsroom, everyone lives in different parts of West Michigan. Everyone has said, yeah, my drive's been twice as long.
Yeah.
3 times as long. Going half the speed. And, that's the biggest thing that's going to continue with these bitter cold temperatures, even as, some of the lake effect is winding down this evening. They're still icy.
Yeah.
And that's not changing, at least probably, I would say probably not until Thursday or Friday. We'll see some relief on the roads as temperatures try to rebound. But one thing is that while the cold air, the coldest of this Arctic blast, is going to start to wane as tomorrow goes on,
Okay.
we got more impactful snow
Oh, goodness.
on the horizon. Yeah, and it kind of got a little lost in the shuffle because we were so focused on the bitter cold, the lake effect that's been ongoing for some, especially if you're watching, parts of Ottawa, Allegan, Muskegon County. You've seen snow since Saturday night.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
And it kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit, and there's the current view in Muskegon. Yeah, it's still snowing there.
Yeah, it's still snowing.
and you know what? One of the things is that Muskegon, they're probably going to see another 6 to 10 inches of snow tomorrow into Thursday morning. So we're talking more impacts, and it's not just the snow, it's going to be the wind that really picks up. We've been kind of fortunate the wind's been okay. It's still breezy outside, but the wind's really going to pick up tomorrow. Let's get into it though. So we're going to talk temperatures right now. That's what everyone's feeling.
Yeah.
Here on this Tuesday night, thanks for everyone joining in with us. Cold weather advisory still in play all the way through noon tomorrow. This is across the board. This is on the east side of the state, northern lower Michigan, even into a bit of the UP. Look at all the ice that is formed here out of our Grand Haven beach camera. Yeah, ice is really going to pick up on the Great Lakes, over the coming days. Already have seen that this week. Here's the number right now in Grand Rapids. Lauren, we're sitting at a balmy 3 below 0.
Wow.
Factor in the wind. And the wind is what we're going to really break down. It's now coming out of the south-southwest, but it feels like it's 23 below 0 here in downtown Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite cold. That's, the type of cold and frostbite on exposed skin within 20-ish minutes or so. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. These were the numbers today. This is where we topped out. This is the high temperature, a couple degrees above 0. This is our coldest day in almost 6 years. Holland, and I think this number will stay. Holland, their high temperature today was 8 degrees for the 21st of January. This will be their coldest high temperature on record for this 21st of January. The previous record was 9 degrees on January 21st of 1963.
Oh my goodness.
So you're talking a 51-year record?
Yeah.
Or 61-year record, in fact. Yeah, 61. Do the math right. 62-year record. That's 2025, not even 2024. 62-year record. That's going to be broken in terms of the coldest high temperature for Holland. Looks like today is going to break that with 8 degrees as the high. And because they're a little bit buffered by the lakeshore. The water temperatures on Lake Michigan are still in the upper 30s to around 40. And even so, South Haven's 2 below, Holland sitting at 0. Look at Big Rapids right now. That's the actual air temperature.
Wow.
6 below 0. Yeah. Muskegon, you're quite warm. You're sitting at 9. Yeah.
Lucky ducks.
Almost all spots across the lower peninsula, several degrees below 0. And that's just the actual air temperature. This is what it actually feels like. Kalamazoo, it feels like it's 25 below 0.
Wow.
22 below 0 is the wind chill in Ionia and Battle Creek. The only exception Again, it still feels below zero at Muskegon, Ludington, for example. There is a slice of West Michigan through tonight that will be slightly warmer, both in the way of the actual temperature and the wind chill, and that's going to be from Muskegon up the lake shore towards Ludington, extending a little inland towards Fremont. And that's just because of the buffering of Lake Michigan. Temperatures tonight, probably falling another degree or two when it's all said and done, and then we're back into the teens, even some lower 20s across the board. Here's a better way to put it, just in terms of temperatures. Tonight, we'll let the graphic load, and there it is. You see temperatures hovering around zero, the exception Muskegon to the north, a little bit of that buffer because of the southwest wind that's going to happen. But daybreak tomorrow, we're still around zero, and then finally it will take until the second half of the day for us to even climb out of the teens, and then we'll be back in the 20s come Thursday.
Wow.
Feels like temperatures, we're going to hover around 10, 20 below zero, if not even a little bit more. And this right here is why we have 200 plus school closings tomorrow alone. If our producer Bree wants to put that one up there, we have like 200
over 200 at this
200
point,
school closings now. 250.
Wow.
We saw a lot yesterday, or
Yes.
today I should say. School closings across the board. There they are.
But it makes sense.
You can scroll a long time on that page. If you want to find closings, go to our website, 13onyourside.com. Get to the closings page. It's all there. You can scroll
all day long.
Yep. And it's across the board. And we're not even just talking, K through 12 schools, even some of the colleges.
Yes.
If they're canceling school, they might be remote tomorrow, depending on the college. But regardless, they're not doing any on-campus stuff.
Yeah.
So when you have colleges canceling on-campus stuff, the cold's a bit serious.
Yeah.
So that's the case. But, even, tomorrow in the afternoon, Lauren, there's still going to be many spots where it feels a few degrees below zero in terms of the wind chill. So it's still going to remain cold through tomorrow, and even into Thursday. Well, it feels like it's 9 finally, 10 by Thursday afternoon. That's still cold. We would say that was cold 3 weeks ago. Now we're just used to these subzero wind chill values. The other side of the story, of course, has been the lake effect snow. Obviously, that's been ongoing, and I really want to get into this aspect of the forecast. And you can just see on and off all day long in Muskegon, those continuous bursts of lake effect snow. That's continuing into this evening. And, for the most part, that's going to be commonplace through tonight. And then we finally see a flare-up of snow. I first want to just show kind of what's a cool aspect of radar. Now, I'm a weather nerd. I think you know that. Rightfully so. This is a loop over the last 12 hours, and you can see the shift in the wind direction. This is going to go back to 9 o'clock this morning. You can see that wind direction was more out of the west-northwest. Look how it veers through the day to the west, now to the south and west as we're heading into these mid to late evening hours. And that is because of the wind direction. The wind direction was coming out of the northwest and then now to the west, and then now here at this 9 o'clock hour, these bands are coming out of the south and west like this. You can see those individual bands kind of like that. And that's going to continue through tonight because our wind's going to remain out of the south and west. These bands aren't producing heavy snow per se, but it's just enough with the cold temperatures. It's just reinforcing those icy conditions. This is what we're going to be watching as tomorrow goes on. It's that Clipper system. There's some snow in Minnesota, the Dakotas, western Wisconsin. Not a huge deal. But what's going to happen as this Clipper system knocks on our doorstep, it's going to get a boost from Lake Michigan because, well, we still have a lot of lake instability with the cold temperatures overhead. So look what happens as tomorrow goes on. We'll have some lingering lake effect tonight. But as tomorrow morning goes on, especially we'll say after 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, look what happens near and north of Holland up the lake shore.
Wow.
It's going to be a continuous feed with that southwest wind direction, and those are the spots that really get favored when the wind's out of the south and west. We're talking Grand Haven, Muskegon, Pentwater, Ludington, even as far inland as Fremont and Baldwin. Classic southwest wind direction with this Clipper system coming through. And this is all day long tomorrow. We started it at 10 o'clock when it flared up. This is now 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, so basically this time tomorrow. What will happen eventually towards the end of the day tomorrow is that the cold front will come through, and that's going to allow the snow to spread out across all of West Michigan. So if you're watching from Grand Rapids, or you're watching from, let's say, Ionia.
Yeah.
Most of your day tomorrow is going to be snow-free.
Okay.
That's a different story again if you're in Muskegon or
Yeah,
Pentwater.
right.
But in Grand Rapids, most of Kent County, Ionia County, snow-free a good chunk of the day. But eventually, once we get into the evening hours, snow will fill back in for everyone. Quick couple inches of snow for everyone. And then notice what happens later Thursday or Wednesday night into Thursday. Then the wind switches to the north and west again, and then you're in those typical lake effect belts. Do want to get in the snow total. So again, this goes to 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're in our early evening newscast. We'll be talking about it, team coverage and such. Many places up and down the lakeshore could be already approaching a half foot of snow, at least a good 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. Here in Grand Rapids, Ionia, Kalamazoo, barely nothing. But then notice what happens. Kind of everyone sees a quick inch, 2, maybe upwards of 3 inches on the localized side as that snow fills back in. But the lakeshore is still contending with more snow. And this particular model, almost nearing double digits in some spots. And I really do think there will be spots near and north of Muskegon that pick up 8, 10 plus inches of snow, just because of what this setup is with a clipper system. You got added support, what we call from the synoptic scale, which means kind of the larger scale focus. And then you got the boost on the mesoscale focus, which is our lake component of this setup. So I think you got a bigger combination compared to what we saw or what we have been seeing the last couple days, which has just been all lake effect. There's really not been a lot of support here and there from a broader scale. And that's why I think that we'll see some decent totals in a 12, 16-hour span tomorrow as the morning goes on through tomorrow night. Yeah, Muskegon, Pentwater, Rothbury, all those towns up and down the lakeshore, Shelby, for example, Fremont, then you go up to US 10. Now the numbers do become a bit less as you go south and east of that bullseye, especially along and eastward of US 131. But still, I do think that there will be some spots, even that don't see much snow during the day tomorrow, such as Grand Rapids, such as, we'll say, Howard City, Ionia, that will get a little bit dicey once again. Here's the main issue, and I'm really trying to take my time here just to really pace this out, is that these are the wind gusts tomorrow.
Wow.
So you're talking wind gusts probably for many, climbing about 30 miles per hour. Would not be surprised at the lakeshore they're approaching 40 miles per hour just because they always get a boost, no friction off the water. What's the issue here is that for those that are going to deal with a lot of snow tomorrow, well, of course, that's going to be whiteout conditions, near blizzard-like conditions north of, we'll say, Holland up the lakeshore. Even here in Grand Rapids that won't see much snow during the day tomorrow. You know how the snowpack has been lately.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's very powdery.
Yeah.
It's not a wet snow by any means. We've been so cold. It's like dust.
Yeah.
And you can, get to your car and you can, blow it off very easily.
Yeah.
That's going to be the issue tomorrow, is that with 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts, you're going to see a lot of blowing and drifting snow. Even if it's not actually snowing, it might have that feel that it is snowing because the snowpack or the wind is causing the snowpack to blow and drift around. And, in the lowest 20, 30 feet above the ground, it's going to be very low visibility because of how fine this snow is.
And that's actually why I wanted to ask you. We do have some questions on Facebook. If you have questions, please comment below. There's Amber. She says she's had enough snow, but her question is, how will the visibility be tomorrow for people who do have to drive?
I easily, again, back at the lakeshore, I'm going to go back to our snowfall map. Again, and this is from 7 a.m. tomorrow through 7 a.m. Thursday.
Okay.
So nothing with tonight. Everyone in here, especially at the lakeshore, visibility is going to be very reduced.
Okay.
The National Weather Service, who issued the winter storm warning, I haven't even shown that yet. There is a winter storm warning from Ottawa County to the north. So that includes Muskegon, Oceana, Mason, Newaygo, and Lake County. Their verbiage in their winter storm warning is that travel is going to be treacherous.
Okay.
To potentially life-threatening.
Wow. Okay.
They're using some very strong language in their wording of the winter storm warning. I definitely think that visibility is going to be very, very reduced because with us being slightly warmer tomorrow, the snow is going to be a little bit bigger in size. It's not going to be as fine as what we've seen the last 48 hours. And that's going to create a lot of visibility issues on top of the already existing snowpack that's going to be blowing and drifting around. You know, in the areas that are away from those highest totals, especially those that won't really see much snow tomorrow during the daytime hours, I still think visibility is going to be quite reduced at times. And on top of it, roads are still not going to be great.
Not great.
Yeah, they're not going to be great. They're not great here in Grand Rapids. They're not great in Barry County if you're in Hastings watching, you know, and they're not going to be great tomorrow either. It's only going to be 15, 20 degrees at best tomorrow. So there's still going to be a lot of issues visibility-wise, and even if you don't see a lot of snow tomorrow, you're away from that sweet spot, I still think travel is going to be really impacted as tomorrow goes on, and that's why I think we're seeing 250 schools close tomorrow, or school districts close. So that's kind of going to be the bigger issue.
Yeah, and some of the other comments are just people kind of asking the same questions. Sydney did ask about school closures in Kent County. Sydney, we have all the listings of current school closures up right now, 250.
I think every school district
pretty much.
closed.
You can actually see that on the screen right now, Sydney. So if you're curious about a specific district, you can go to the website and you can see that. But this, I think, is just a reminder that if you don't have to be outside tomorrow, driving, walking, whatever, don't be outside. It's not going to be the most safest.
Yeah, you know, and that really rings true for those that are, you know, Grand Haven, Muskegon to the north. Tomorrow's going to be a pretty nasty day. I know we've been on a string of nasty days, but, you know, for those that really do feel confident in their winter driving skills, you know, you've been able to get around. I really do think it's going to be a little different tomorrow just because of the intensity of the snow that's expected as tomorrow goes on. And some of you might be saying, 6 to 8 inches. I've lived here my whole life. That's a typical day in the office. Of course, but it's going to be that wind that really sets up the stage where visibility is going to be reduced. And we're already on top of bad roads as is. This isn't just a system that's popped up and, you know, oh, it's a Tuesday. Well, we're going to be on day 4 where it's been quite treacherous here and there. So I really think that's the biggest thing as tomorrow goes on, especially with the wind. And I'm going to actually bring up the winter alerts. We still have, this is all from the National Weather Service, you know, fine meteorologists there that work in Grand Rapids, and Ottawa County, Muskegon County, Oceana, Newaygo, and then 2 counties north of them, Mason and Lake County. That goes all the way until Thursday at 10 a.m.
Wow.
So it's a good almost 36 hours of a winter storm warning. Winter weather advisory for Allegan and Van Buren County goes until 1 a.m. Tonight. I will say that there is the potential. I wouldn't be surprised if the folks at the Weather Service in Grand Rapids maybe issue an advisory for the surrounding counties because of what I just mentioned to you. With the blowing and drifting aspect that might happen tomorrow as the wind picks up, I could see them maybe issuing an advisory. Either way, it's just going to be another tough day here at home. And then finally, you know, as we get past Thursday, later in the day, Thursday into Friday, that's when I think things will really start to improve. You know, roads might not be great per se, but we'll start to see the snow completely come to an end. Temperatures will still be warming up, and then, you know, I think we'll see some improvement from that aspect. So again, you know, it's kind of a twofold here. We're still battling these cold temperatures. You know, for those that are just joining in, we're going to repeat a little bit, and then, you know, we'll kind of wrap this up in a few minutes or so, as, you know, we got to get ready for the 11 o'clock show tonight. You'll find both of us doing it, so we'll be here at 11. I also want to shout out our chief meteorologist, Samantha Jacks. She's going to be back in 4:30 to 7. I give her a lot of credit. She is a warrior, and she's going to be doing it with also meteorologist Amber Twardy. She's going to be back. She's coming off her weekend. She's going to be working hard tomorrow morning. And then myself and meteorologist Colton Woods will be here in the afternoon and evening, and we're going to do more live streaming throughout the day as well. You know, those numbers right now, you know, below 0, okay, 3 below, 4 below in Ionia, 7 below now in Big Rapids. I think we started the stream and it was 6 below 0.
Ooh, okay.
You know, the wind chill, 20, 25 below in our coldest spots. Yeah, it's it's quite cold.
It's cold.
and you know, that's the thing, is that we are very lucky here in West Michigan because we have that buffer of Lake Michigan around. That's why we don't get as cold as Wisconsin or the Dakotas or Minnesota. They don't have that luxury. That cold Canadian Arctic air spills in, there's nothing to modify it.
Yeah.
We have that influence off of Lake Michigan, but this Arctic air mass really meant business. You know, and we're going to have this a little bit in our show at 11. It's impacted much of the country. In fact,
yes.
I've seen, you know, things on social media. New Orleans, there's been 8-10 inches of snow down in New Orleans, the city itself. Pensacola, or, you know, the Panhandle of Florida, they are contending with numerous inches of snow. So, you know, this Arctic air mass really meant business over the last few days. But again, we're really going to see the coldest wind chill values remain through tonight into the daybreak hours of tomorrow. We'll slowly see some improvement. But from a snow aspect, there it goes. You know, later tonight, and especially as tomorrow morning gets on, you just see that flare up in the lake effect snow, and that will continue throughout pretty much the entirety of tomorrow. I also just want to show another model. You know, we look at models all the time, and it just kind of shows the same thing. You know, there's that flare up and that sweet spot, especially, you know, north of Grand Haven. We'll say north of Holland, but especially north of Grand Haven into Muskegon County, Oceana, Newaygo County, and then it flares back in for everyone. So that's going to be really the true focus as we head into tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And then as the day goes on, especially when we have wind gusts 30, 40 miles per hour.
Yeah. And one quick question I did have is that, you know, we are getting a slight warm up this weekend. Nothing too crazy. But because we're not warming up to like the 30s and 40s, does that mean the snow is still going to stay on the ground? Is going to be enough to melt any snow? Or,
you know, we're going to see, you know, as temperatures, let's get to the 7-day. Let's get right to it. Let me scroll down here. No one ever wants to see my graphic list here. It is a chaotic mess. All right, here's the 7-day forecast. We're going to get back into 20s Thursday into Friday, probably near 30 Saturday, but there is some light snow possible Saturday. Even with numbers in the 20s, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you technically could see some melting occur. That's just because of solar radiation during the day.
Okay.
There's just enough. Even on a day where you don't climb above freezing, you can still melt off a lot of the snow and ice, especially with the help of salt and such. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of melting coming ahead. In fact, you know, looking beyond the next round of snow tomorrow, the bitter cold through tonight, it does look like we're going to be rather windy again late this weekend into early next week. A lot of the model guidance is pointing that we could be contending with a pretty windy stretch. Even if we stay dry, we could be looking at a pretty windy stretch, and that would limit how much melting could occur over the course of those days late in the 7-day forecast, even as we try to near 30, maybe our warmest spots into the lower 30s. So, you know, for those that love winter.
That's what I was going to say. We do have a lot of snow businesses that love what
this is a prime winter. You know, even though we've dealt with, you know, some impacts here and there, you know, not all of it's negative. This is great news for you know, bait shops. This is great news for the slopes. This is great news for anything that's winter related, because we've pretty much have gone now 2-3 winters in a row where there really hasn't been much, you know, especially last year, but even 2-3 winters ago, despite some, when you look at the numbers, you know, here in Grand Rapids, you know, we've seen a lot of snow, but a lot of that came in bursts of lake effect. In fact, when you really crunch down the numbers, we've been rather warm each and every winter, really for the last 3-4 years. You know, this is a sight you haven't seen in quite some time here at Grand Haven, where the ice is really starting to accumulate, really starting to pile up at the shoreline itself. So, you know, from a winter aspect, for those that love winter, this is great news. And, you know, I still think we're going to remain pretty cold through the end of the month. You know, there are some signs here. You try to get to it, you know, in the long range. You know, from a climatology standpoint, Lauren, we're at our coldest point of the year.
Okay.
Third, fourth week of January, this is where we bottom out with average highs around 30 degrees. You know, the long range forecast, this is 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. If the dates will come up, 25th to the 29th. You know, the Climate Prediction Center's leaning towards near normal temperatures, which is
Okay.
great. I like to be where we
Right.
should be for this time of year. I don't like extremes. And even into early February, this is the 8 to 14 day outlook, we're still trending near average.
Okay.
I can go one more here. And this is the 3 to 4, and this is all very, take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
We just try to get to the next day here in the weather world. Week to 3 to 4 temperatures. And this goes to Valentine's Day. We're on that cusp of even trending a little bit below average, even into the first half of February. From what I have seen, I think we're going to trend pretty average towards the end of the month,
Okay.
into the beginning of February, and then we'll see how it goes. Once you get towards the end of February, well, winter's on its last kind of, days as well. We're starting to think of spring pretty quickly towards the end of February and by far into March. But again, that's going to be the biggest thing. Towards the end of the month, how long can we sustain this for those that love winter weather? So,
Okay.
yeah. So we've been rambling, we've been babbling. It's all good, but just a few things, a heads up here. I think weather's been on a lot of people's minds.
Yes.
Probably should be on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
These last few days, and we're still going to deal with a few additional impacts, even as the this coldest air starts to depart tomorrow. We're going to replace that impact with some decent snow up the lakeshore, and even a little bit inland into Newaygo Lake County as tomorrow goes on. So
We just gotta hold on. We're almost there. Almost to the weekend.
It's
Hold
only
on.
Tuesday?
Only Tuesday, but we're almost there. Just get past this on Thursday and be a little bit more normal.
yeah, and I said this yesterday. If anyone has questions, you can reach out to us, 616-559-1310. You can send the text there. We should be able to get that. Or find my Facebook page, Meteorologist Blake Hansen. Send me a message. You got a weather question, you're traveling somewhere, you just have a question in general about what's going on weather-wise, let me know. Feel free. I'm always happy to help out. So that's the biggest thing.
Ask all questions to him, not me. Well, we're gonna jump off now. Thank you so much for all the things. You can still comment on this if you have questions. Blake will get back to you. So again, this is on our Facebook page right now. You can also email us as well, and again, you can text us as well. So we're gonna hop off now, but we are gonna be covering this more during our 11 o'clock newscast. So if you have more questions or just want more info, please join us at this time.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
This has been a 13 Weather Impact Alert.